Hi, everybody. Welcome to What We're Watching. I'm Catherine.
Hello. I'm Ed.
I'm Liz.
And John.
Okay, so I hate to be the first one, so I'm not going to be the first one. So eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
It's nice to see you.
I know. Well,
Everybody have a nice week. Do they watch a lot of TV?
oh, so much TV. Okay, Ed, are you ready to go? You want to jump?
I can dive in.
Okay.
I have like a real light filler for show for the episode for everybody. I neglected my due diligence and did not finish the first season of Ted Lasso, so I couldn't enjoy the second season, and I left right when he was signing the spoiler. If you haven't watched all the way back to the first season, everyone get up to speed. Just kidding.
Because there's 3 seasons now, right?
Their third season's not out yet.
Okay.
But I wanted to make sure I caught up before I get caught up on so many other things. Because it's a nice show. I like to watch a fun, nice show. And even though it doesn't always stay nice, and it's people, being a little bit more real as the season progresses, I left it right at a hot spot. I was like, I'm taking a break. What else is going on?
Oh, really?
I don't know why. What else happened? And then I think when I was watching it with our mother, and then I swooped by one night and I saw her 4 episodes further. I'm like,
What?
old lady?
Wait, she jumped?
She just did not track that it was a show she was watching with someone, and she's like, "Ooh, new episode!" Bing. Done.
my
And
God,
it's
hysterical.
hard not to watch 3 episodes in a row.
I mean, people have gotten divorced over that.
I was getting ready for this episode, and I binged the whole first season yesterday and today. So I'm woohoo! It's a great show. I forgot how much when I was growing up I played soccer, so it's fun to watch that shown on TV. And I think one of my kind of early takeaways before the storylines wrap themselves up for the season, one of my takeaways was that the end of a game is okay to be a tie. The goal isn't winning, and it can't be winning for everybody. Not even everybody's even playing soccer. Everyone who's watching soccer is okay with a tie. That's an outcome that everyone's like, meh. But next time. And that is such a not the thing that we all kind of are used to in our lives or shown in most shows. Most shows are playing sports where you can only have a winner. And so the sports representation being more fair and closer to real life, that sometimes it's a draw.
Well, is that true in soccer? I mean, because it's been actually a long time, because my son...
It depends on what the tournament is. If it's just
soccer.
a game, it can end in a draw.
Okay.
But sometimes there's tournaments and someone has to be at the outcome, so they'll have
penalty
sudden death
kicks.
penalty kicks. And things
Okay,
like that.
right. Okay, that's what I thought.
But it's been a seriously long time since I played soccer. I don't trust my knees. But
How
it's nice
long
to
did
watch
you
someone
play
else
for? I forgot.
I played through senior year, and then I just didn't go
Of
on
high school?
of high school, and just didn't go on the team.
Wait, what? You played at Notre Dame?
Yeah. I didn't have enough grades to stay on the team. It became the extracurricular that got taken away after I screwed my grades. But whatever. I struggled.
Oh, my
And
goodness.
then I went to college, and I excelled at art. So
Right.
that's what I went to college for. So you don't worry about grades in art college. You worry about, is that the right pastel? I got to start over.
Interesting.
It's a whole different thing.
I did find Ted Lasso an education in soccer or football because I
Right, football.
Yeah, I didn't follow any, but I didn't pay attention to anybody who played. I didn't know anything that was going on. So it was kind of, I kind of hoped that I would get Eric into it because I really like Ted Lasso.
Yeah, it's a
and
great
he does
series.
not follow any sports and is very suspicious of any show that involves a sport of any kind. I'm like, no, it doesn't matter. No, he was not gonna. So
Really?
husband did not bite on Ted Lasso, which is shocking, but couldn't get him involved.
Yeah, our whole family's loves Ted Lasso. And I also just think, Jason Sudeikis just does an incredible job.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, he just does an incredible job growing a mustache.
Well, I mean, that's definitely amazing.
That thing is if there had been a TV stepchild that was unknown of Anchorman, boom. Boom. Ted Lasso is an
I was like, where are
unknown
you going
stepchild
with
of
this?
Anchorman.
I'm
Look at that
like, oh my
mustache.
God.
Boom. Tie that together.
I'm like, where's he going with this? Okay.
Well,
Anchorman
SNL is an
reference.
SNL
Sure,
tie-in.
yes.
Come on, give me
yeah.
that. Gee whiz.
But he's the epitome of what you want your coach to be.
Oh yeah, like much more about the team and the camaraderie, and
And it's about team because the supporting cast is incredible.
Oh, they
they
are
won like every
incredible.
award last year, rightfully so.
I actually won the Emmy pool this year because I bet on all of these.
All Ted Lasso?
I really hit the Ted Lasso hard, and that's what put me over the top.
What did you win? What did you win?
I think I won. I don't know. It was the pool of like, however, we were supposed to put $10 in.
Oh, you
or
won
something.
money.
Oh, yeah.
Nice,
Mhm.
nice.
I mean, I think I got $40 out of it or something, which was hysterical because I also did not have any money. So I was like, ooh, if I lose, I'm going to have to pay whoever wins. Oh, I won? Okay, great.
Boom. And so season 3 has not come out yet, but season 1 and 2 are available
Season 1
on...
and 2 are on Apple TV.
Nice. Okay. Yep.
Yeah, so good. Okay, look, I'll go next because it's in the same sort of vein that it's a comedy, half-hour comedy thingamajiggy. Okay, so it came up last time that Upload is coming back for season 2. And I was like, I'm going to get Eric to watch it. And I was successful.
Nice.
So we started a rewatch. For him, a new watch. For me,
you
a
were
rewatch.
Successfully able to upload it into him.
Exactly. So I gave the pitch, and then he was like, "Oh, okay, that sounds good." So we started watching season 1 of Upload in preparation for March 11th, Upload season 2. And I will say, it is just as good as I remember. So I really had to double down and be like, "Oh yeah, no, I highly, highly, highly recommend."
I put it in my queue based on your recommendation.
Yeah, it's not it's not a long commitment because it's only one season.
Right.
And they're short. And, so, and I very much like the cast. So it's Robbie Amell, or I want to say
Amell.
Amell. Okay.
Brother of Stephen Amell.
Who from
Arrow.
From Arrow, yeah. So,
Oh.
no, not brother. They're cousins. 100%.
And
Check
he
it
was
right
also-
now.
I'll let you know.
He was also on the show.
He
was a character who
facts,
turned
John.
into, I don't know. I don't remember what he turned into. I stopped. I had
Who,
to stop.
Robbie on Arrow, you mean?
yeah.
Oh, I thought
Yeah.
you were saying Steven on
Wait a
Upload.
minute. Wait a minute.
This is confusing.
Does
First of all, if Steven's not on season 2 of Upload, they have misfired.
They
Who
really
is
should
doing
do.
this?
They really
What is
should do that.
happening? Go figure that out. Call
Doesn't
me. I
Arrow
will help you.
Doesn't Arrow overcross Flash,
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
which I'm watching with my son, but we almost had a cardiac arrest to realize how many seasons there are, how many episodes, and they are still
going a long time.
making new episodes.
And-
Ethan's like, my gosh, I'll be going off to college before we finish this.
It
And I was
crosses
like,
over with 3 other shows. And
Oh, yeah.
I kept up for the
I
first
can't do
4
the
seasons.
crossovers, yeah.
And I really do want to get back into it. And you got to have a lot of subscriptions to get all the right shows. Plus, also, I'm behind on Marvel.
Well, that's everything
there's a
going
lot.
back to our we have a huge fans coming up with Shonda Rhimes, and we're like, that's that crossover. They get you with the crossover and they leave you dangling.
Yeah, they
so you have
suck
to
you in.
watch another show. And sometimes I'm like, I refuse. I will not
Some of my
partake
favorite
in this.
characters have come from the crossover shows.
Oh gosh. Well, listen, there have been times like you're gonna have to watch it to see what happens because they're gonna wrap it up in the show that you don't watch. So
Of course. That's the trick.
yes, but Arrow is not a show I watched, but I
watched it a lot in the
did like that
beginning, yeah.
character when he appeared on Flash.
What
He
was
was very dark and brooding
and very handsome. He's
Yeah.
a handsome man.
But his skill, they're always like Flash is truly like has the his speed, but is
The Speed
Arrow
Force.
but is
Come
Arrow just like a
on, the
really
Speed Force? Your son would be embarrassed.
Speed Force. Okay. And doesn't Arrow, I mean, he can just like
he's just really well trained. He's
right.
like, yeah.
Which that was kind of a thing between the two of them.
Isn't he also rich? Is he like
yes, he's-
Batman?
I was gonna say I don't want to get in trouble, but I feel
Different
like
city.
okay, I feel like it's a very Batman-esque kind of thing because Batman doesn't have any like superpowers. He's just
Super wealthy
and well trained and like a good fighter and like whatever.
and really can create amazing technology.
yeah. But yes,
Are you going to see the new Batman?
I'm planning on it, but
It looks so dark.
It does look very
like
dark.
a lot of the fun is not going to. The fun of the ones that we grew up with are stripped out, but I'm probably still going to see it.
Of course. It does amuse me. That's like how many times, apparently infinite number of times, you can just reboot Spider-Man and Batman.
Well,
Just-
the last
just keep
Spider-Man movie was awesome, and I don't want to have spoiler alerts, but there were multiple Spider-Mans
I
represented
think
in
at
it.
this point, there's been enough rumors / confirmation that, I'm not going to say anything else.
Right.
whatever.
I didn't say anything else
I
either.
know, I'm not going to say anything.
That is definitely worth seeing, the new
You
Spider-Man.
were going to say
I was not going to say.
You
Okay, did you look it up?
two
Is it
were
cousins or
spinning
brothers?
a web, and you almost got caught in it.
Yes. Okay.
You are correct. And I am
Cousins.
very sad that he is just cousin.
Yeah.
He does occur in The Flash as a character, so look forward to that.
Really?
Firestorm, I think it's.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I, forgot.
Yeah.
I knew he turned into something. I couldn't remember.
We may need to do a whole riff on the Flash ad. There are elements of the Flash that gets my goat up. It's really kind of annoying, but
Okay, so let me just finish.
Yeah.
Because basically, since I was doing a rewatch with Eric, I was
Upload.
like, of Upload, another Greg Daniels show, the second season of Space Force.
Wait a minute, I was going to talk about that.
Son of a bitch. This is why it's a gamble to save it for the podcast, because sometimes we don't discuss what we're planning on talking
Right.
about.
Well, it actually makes for better conversation.
Well,
'cause
no,
then
we
the
can
two
just
of you can
mutually
really get into.
and then I can get into the other show I was going to tie into. So okay, so you're
so
watching Space Force.
I finished season 2 of Space Force, which
Nice.
was actually quite short.
Okay,
It was
'cause
only 7 episodes.
I'm not finished with it yet. I've started.
Okay, well,
it,
I
yeah.
won't. I mean,
There's 2 seasons on Netflix available.
correct. 2 seasons, and this was the separate from the show itself. I did want to talk very briefly about the crossover actor who's on Upload and on Space Force. He's the tall redheaded guy. He plays the AI on Upload. Like
Okay.
within the world of Upload, there's like a computer program, and he's sort of like the in-game character or whatever.
There's been some really good AI in game or like in show characters. I'm not going to get into it, but like there's a couple that come to mind. But yeah,
Oh, one just came to mind that was a whole different inappropriate show that John and I watched with my daughter. We watched Altered Carbon.
yeah, that's the one I was thinking
Okay.
of. He was fantastic.
He was fantastic. Okay, so back to there's this tall redheaded guy, and he's very, very funny in Upload. And then I remember as I'm watching season 2 of Space Force, I'm like, oh, yeah, he was one of the like alternate new astronauts or whatever.
Okay.
Very
yeah.
funny. Look him up. It's Greg Daniels' son. So I'm like, oh, well, first of all, he stood out. He was very, very good and funny.
Owen Daniels.
Yes, Owen Daniels. So shout out to him. He is very funny. And I would not have known, except that I liked him so much that I looked it up, that he is Greg Daniels' son. Okay, so so Space Force season 2, I did finish. I really liked it.
Oh, I highly recommend, especially if you like things like Park and Recs or The Office.
Yeah, which is also
because Steve Carell's basically the general nerd.
General Nerd.
He is the lead, and when you think about Space Force, basically started because of making a joke of that reference and pop culture. That what they've turned it into is very funny.
Yeah, so I'd say between John Malkovich.
Oh my gosh,
He's
as
amazing.
Dr. Adrian Mallory.
He is fantastic. I love him so much. It's probably my favorite thing that he's ever done, because a lot of times he's so serious. I just can't.
Oh no,
handle
this
it.
is
It's great.
brilliant.
It is really, really good. And
The way he says the F-bomb, it is so, he's just so good. The Mars Project. I mean, there's just, yes.
He's very.
Oh, and then when he has NASA, his NASA nemesis or whatever.
know.
I mean,
I mean,
it is
his whole
brilliant.
storyline is so great.
Yeah.
And then we've got Lisa Kudrow making.
Okay. I am not, I hope, probably still doesn't happen because we can go watch the whole season 1 and season 2. But Lisa Kudrow's character is very interesting because she's really not on the show.
No, and I
But
like
she's-
that you're not saying what it is, because
Right.
it is very funny.
But at the same time, it's like, what happened?
It's very mysterious, and
Yes.
it is on purpose. I actually had to stop down while watching and be like, am I supposed to know? Did I miss
No.
something? No.
No.
Okay.
No.
So it is very funny, the way they handle this Lisa Kudrow storyline.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just want to say, Ben Schwartz, who was also on Parks and Rec,
PR
for
Space Force.
He is so ridiculous and great. And Jimmy O Yang, who is one of the scientists,
his
fantastic.
love interest with Angela the astronaut. It's good to be black in space.
I know.
Such a great line.
It's which good for her, except that she didn't mean to say that. So then,
Still great.
I know, it was so good. Anyway, it's so well written and fun, and I feel like it's not a great omen that it only got 7 episodes for the second season, because that feels like. Are you losing faith in this? Is this not maybe gonna?
Come on, I know.
All right, okay,
and I will say,
I don't want to jinx it.
They,
but-
there's so many great little characters, and I got to give a shout out to Don Lake. Who,
oh my God, he's so good.
he plays one of
Brad. Yeah, I'm a general. Oh, I forgot. I'm a general. Oh, okay. It sounds weird when I say it. It's like, oh God.
his testy chair.
Okay.
So yeah, there's just it's just one of those shows. Like I said, in the vein of The Office or Parks and Rec.
That's its DNA. So
yes,
yeah,
it's so good. It's so enjoyable, and I think it is family friendly, 12 plus. I mean, my son watches it with us, so it's you can get sort of the stupidity of government spending too as well.
Oh yeah, the bureaucracy is really hit hard as a joke. I mean, it's they do a great job.
And Dr.
Maybe that's why they only ended up with 7 episodes.
Dr. Mallory is so pissed when they do budget cuts.
Oh God, it's very well constructed. Oh, and the girl who plays the daughter is very good too. I remember she was from. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, yeah, I mean I think she's done a lot of different things.
The one thing that I immediately remembered her from was Booksmart. She was in Booksmart, so
yes.
she was like the love interest of one of the characters. So
yeah,
but beyond that, I didn't have any top of mind references for her, but I immediately recognized her from
my
that.
husband recognized her from the movie Ma, which is like it's like a horror flick, of course.
Oh,
so he recognized
that's not
her from
something
that.
I would have watched.
Yeah, I was like, no. But Booksmart was great, and yes, she had a good little arc in it. Her name is Diana Silvers.
Yeah, she's very good. Okay, so that was a surprise.
Okay, so
I'm glad you're watching it because it's. I mean, look, I love talking about shows and getting people excited to watch them, but I also am very excited when someone else is already watching it.
Yes. So
when did that season drop? Because I feel like I was like, oh yeah, I'm
Maybe
definitely gonna watch that last week.
Oh, no,
like I'm like when
season 2 of Space Force just dropped.
Oh, yeah,
but
it's
all the
one of the-
episodes are
Yeah.
available.
It's one of those
I
things
just
where-
how
yeah.
far behind was I?
Not
One
very.
week
No.
I was doing. Oh man.
No, but I watched it in like 2 days because
Yeah.
I was like,
quick.
an episode on the treadmill, an episode here, an episode there. All of
Right.
a sudden, you're done. What? Oh,
yeah,
it's
that's
over.
one of those things while I'm family watching, so it takes more
It doesn't take that much space.
time.
That's an interesting category. Family watching. Yeah, because
Yeah.
definitely the breakdown of what I'm watching with who, that's how it gets paced. You're like, oh.
And I'm going to stay in the space genre and family watching.
All right, go.
Hashtag. Also on Netflix is Lost in Space.
Oh, sure.
That's nice. Did you finish the series?
Yes, just finished the series. So
Nice.
there's 3 seasons.
Are they done?
Yes.
Oh,
Well, sorry, that was loud, but at the same
My eyes cross anyways. Don't worry about it, Liz.
but at the same time, I don't want to spoil it for you that it would be done. But we're too young for even the original Lost in Space. So our only reference is that Matt LeBlanc movie that came out that was like
Hey,
horrible.
this is a great
Well, I
soundtrack. I
remember-
still
yeah.
play that. It's awesome.
Are you serious?
Apollo 44 is awesome.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Don't worry about it. I'm awesome.
Okay,
Wow.
I do remember the old black and white, danger, Will Robinson, danger, and the.
Well,
yeah,
they
but-
kind of went more old school with some
Yeah,
of those.
for sure.
So we are all done with 3. This was family watching, and for some reason, because my son was about the same age as Will Robinson, he found it very cringy.
Cringy?
And he'd be like,
Oh.
"Oh, this is so cringy." So
What does that mean to him? Like
because
he's
I think
uncomfortable?
the awkwardness of the teen scenes, because it was like 3 teenagers, Judy, Penny, and Will are the kids of John and Maureen. So that's the Robinson family, and this is the family, basically they get lost in space, leaving Earth.
Wait, they get lost in space?
Yes, that's
no,
the name of it,
what?
Lost in
okay,
Space.
I divulge. I watched all of season 1 and part of season 2, and somehow this ended up in my stalled category. Somehow
I think we were all watching it.
Yeah,
and
we
then
were.
We paused.
We paused.
It got lost in space.
Yeah, Sarah was even watching with us at some point. You know what? I wonder if it was pandemic, because a lot of stuff that we were watching with John, because he didn't come over for, a year plus,
okay.
was all just like, we have to wait for John. We have to wait for John. That's kind of how Better Call Saul ended up being on such
That has
a
nothing
slow.
to do with it. We have the correct philosophy of waiting a year and a half to 2.5 years.
Well, I say pick it back up because, there's an end goal in sight. And I actually really enjoyed this third season. And for one character alone, you should watch it.
Wait,
you know where I'm going, John.
Maybe.
Dr. Smith, played by Parker Posey.
She's amazing.
She's so brilliant.
Wackadoodler.
Every single time she walk on screen, my son would be like, oh my gosh.
What is she going to do?
What is she going to do? How's she going to... Oh, why did they just lock her up?
I don't think I've ever thought of it like this, but I 100% give her credit for taking on a wacky Sigourney Weaver from all the Alien movies. Like, if Sigourney wasn't up against aliens the entire time, she might have turned evil herself. And I believe just the hairstyle from a couple seasons, I could totally see homage to that.
I mean, she embraces the character. She is diabolical and conniving. And what the greatest thing is, like, you can see the wheels turning on her face. And you're like, oh gosh. So, and I mean, the robot, I don't know, it's kind of sexy. It was very...
the robot was very cool, I thought. Yeah.
But I
don't know if I'd say
but
sexy.
At one point, there's like 3 robots. God forbid you fall asleep for 5 minutes. You're like, wait, is this robot, SARS, or Scarecrow? I don't know what the hell's happening here. Who's bad? Who's a blue sparkly
is Lars
face?
in this one? No,
not
that's a different movie.
So not Lars in the
Lars and the Real Girl.
not Lars and the Real Girl. So all I can say is that
That should be a series. Why isn't that a series? I want Lars from Interstellar and the Real Girl.
God, no. So I mean, it's just and every episode, my son would be like, "Why is the Robinson family in danger?" I'm like, "Hello, lost in space."
That's kind of the point.
And the classic, like every maybe I shouldn't walk this way on this foreign planet, and things won't happen that are bad. Yes, everything will happen that is bad.
Something will break. Something. Yeah.
Oh Lord, all these type of things, survivalists, right? I just go, I don't know if I have the makeup. I don't think I'd be one to be put on the Resolute that's going to go to the Alpha Centaurium and like repopulate the planet.
I know the mom on it is very impressive.
Oh, I know. Yes. I mean, it's like her and the daughter Judy, there's just no problem they can't fix. I mean, really like ridiculously so. They're like, well, if we just take this one frozen pipeline and reconnect the conduit here, then spark it with something that we found on the planet here made out of titanium, we'll be able to start the whole spaceship up again.
Okay, first of all, that was actually super impressive that you even just did a full ridiculous rant on.
That's about what it'd be. The MacGyver! Like every episode. You're like,
Space MacGyver.
yeah.
Space MacGyver.
I feel like MacGyver doesn't get sung like that. It's only the
MacGruber! I just did MacGruber MacGyver.
MacGyver doesn't have lyrics, does it?
Unlike MacGruber, they would not be like, wait, just one more second before MacGruber. We only have 10 more seconds.
But
I
let me just
understand.
tell you this
but
one
what I
thing.
think we got to do about the atmosphere here, MacGruber. So
Wait, MacGruber is coming back, or it is back, right? There's a new
Yes.
series.
That's what we should talk. I mean, he's one of my favorites.
Well, you did. What was he just in the other day when you were like Tandy?
Studio 666.
Oh, right.
We should do
Foo Fighters' new movie.
Huge fans of Will Forte's Top 40.
Forte, isn't it?
Forte's Top 40.
Oh, I was like,
Forte is Forte or 40's 40. I don't know.
Tandy's Top Forte.
Tandy. I mean, that I will.
Okay, just
I
for-
will forever miss that series.
Well, I think we need to say Last Man on Earth. No, even when you mentioned it last time, you brought up Tandy, but you didn't reference
you
what
didn't
it's from.
explain.
So Tandy is the character that he played.
Will
that's
Forte.
the-
That's not
the
100%.
nickname
That's not 100%
of-
true. She's
Okay.
not allowed to be called Tandy.
I know. Stop. Okay, so Last Man on Earth, which was a Fox show, which was it's probably
I
available
think it's
on
on Hulu.
Yeah.
Incredible cast. Jason Sudeikis actually has an amazing little cameo.
Yeah, don't spoil it.
And I will
So
just say
good.
that for some reason, talk about cringy. performance. He does things that just
Everything he does.
I would belly laugh because you're just like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? It was so but that is a show I would say I would go back and rewatch. And I was so sad when it just sort of like ended with no real shout,
Resolution.
Hulu, if you are listening, I think that deserves, like a MacGruber, I think it deserves a final like
reboot season.
Reboot season, or give me an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Give me like a little movie. I want to see what happened.
Give us a little last man on Earth.
Yes.
That's all we're talking about here.
But so I will.
Oh, wait, sorry. Just before I forget completely, just because you said Last Man on Earth, it made me think of People of Earth, which was also a Greg Daniels show, which I couldn't. I was looking up his.
The only show you like. Got it.
No, I did like a lot of shows, but I also like that show. Yes, Last Man on Earth. Sorry, back to that.
No, so I was just gonna say Lost in Space. All 3 seasons available now on Netflix. Definitely something you can watch with your family. The special effects are pretty cool. The cast is amazing. Molly Parker is the one that plays the mom, by the way.
Oh, she was on Deadwood.
Yeah, your favorite show.
Yeah.
I loved Deadwood so much, I never watched it. Okay, go on.
Yeah. And by the time they came back, the teenager, for some reason, my son found the whole teen scene less cringy. Even though there was teen adolescence and sexuality, he was a little better handling it. But, yes. So the robot, it's also, you can really get into like the AI of it. Can AI have a soul and a heart and change? And so there's, big philosophical questions that
I
they
like
address.
that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So I mean, we enjoyed it.
If it's a singularity.
True. And so
If it's sentient, I mean, what are we talking about, Liz?
Gosh, what would it have been? I mean, because you had, like I said, Scarecrow, SARS, and Robot. And
Are those the 3?
Those were like the main 3 robots. Danger Will Robinson they just called him Robot.
Uh-huh.
I mean,
Give him
a name, for God's sakes. Scarecrow was one they found.
I mean, is this a Wizard of Oz reference?
Well,
What's
it was
happening?
weird. Believe me, like I think I fell asleep for 5 minutes during an episode and woke up and didn't know what the hell was happening when Scarecrow came on.
There's a horse.
Because SARS, God, what an interesting name, but SARS is the bad robot that is like chasing them and trying to destroy them. And
Search
Scarecrow
and
was one they
Recover
found that was sort of like a
series.
tormented robot that was being used in a way, I don't want to spoil it, but did
Okay, so
have-
there are 3 robots for sure.
But
Okay.
like I said,
I didn't get to that point. so.
I barely got to that point during it. So, because like I said, they look enough alike that it was like, oh, the one with extra spikes is mean, or the one with the red sparkly face. It was like, what the hell is happening here? So, yes, don't fall asleep because there are moments you're not you can't figure out what the hell is happening. So, yeah.
I mean, generally that's good advice. Don't fall asleep during the show.
don't fall asleep.
But,
So, yeah. All right. So that's Space Force, like you, and Lost in Space. So I did kind of 2 space themes.
Nice. Okay, so John, is it just you?
I suppose.
All right, go.
So I have a movie. Sort of doing the award season catch up.
Right.
I watched Respect, the Aretha Franklin.
Oh, how was that?
biopic. It was really good. It is unfortunately snubbed by the Oscars. Jennifer Hudson is up for a SAG award though.
Nice.
So that's nice. It was really good, I thought. It's funny because you end up focusing on different things with the biography. So you're very focused on Aretha's story, which I didn't really know. And it's like, oh, well, I knew that she kind of hit slightly later, although still slightly young. But she did have a career kind of before that wasn't as successful. And it was, as well as all her life aspects that were incredibly interesting.
Nice.
They did a really good job. They did, as every biopic or every adaptation. There were definitely quite a few changes that they made. There's a huge story, a sad part of Aretha's history that is actually apparently not fully confirmed, and so
But they got into it?
Oh, they fully,
okay.
they fully went that way. So, I don't know the truth of it or not. According to the internet,
yeah.
it's not perfectly confirmed. So
It's
we'll
hard
see.
when something is a biography, you want to know how much of this is.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
one of my. It's very hard for me to resist that. As soon as I get through it, I'm like, wait a minute.
I need to look it all up.
Yeah. What was true is though she from Detroit, though it was kind of pre Motown. I did not realize that her father was a reverend who was actually kind of important was important in that area, which was also tied to the civil rights movement and Martin Luther King. So she was going to rallies singing like even pre-March at Birmingham.
Wow.
She was all over it and fully knew Martin Luther King and, was therefore devastated when he was killed. And that's why she sang at the funeral. She was a part of his life, and the movement, as well as musicians. Smokey Robinson was around.
And the issue with that storyline and why it doesn't seem familiar is because that happened before she came up, before she had like all of her big hits. When you know about Aretha, that's after that time. So that was like her younger, right?
Yes. She, was singing from a very young age. And so this was, her father was also preaching along with Martin Luther King. And so she would come and then she would sing. But yeah, I mean, it was interesting to see that, because they're recreating all these famous images that you've sort of seen before. And so I felt like I had seen this Martin Luther King funeral and her singing at it. And I was like, oh, well, I didn't realize that there was another layer to it. And that's just me. Not just me, but
No, probably
I think
not
that's
just
me
you, for
not
sure.
knowing the history of it. But like I said, also really tied into the musical people of that era and locale in Detroit. So Smokey Robinson, as Motown was coming up, it seemed as if she could have been involved with Motown, and then she went to New York to Columbia. She also knew Dinah Washington, which is like, oh, unforgettable. Yeah, okay, that's very important. I didn't realize that. Although in the movie they also do a huge moment. Dinah Washington is Mary J. Blige, and she's incredible.
Oh, really?
She is incredible. But
I don't even think I knew Mary J. Blige was in that film.
Yeah, I don't feel like that was a big part of the promo push,
They
but maybe I
didn't
missed
really
that.
make it super.
And
big
she's done a
part
lot of
the-
press because obviously of the Super Bowl halftime, which she was awesome.
Well, and she also just had a documentary that just came out.
I know. Go Mary J. Blige.
Yeah,
She's
she
pretty
was
amazing.
she was great in this as well, but they may have slightly manufactured a moment or combined 2 to 3 moments, one with another artist and one with something with Dinah and Aretha Franklin, but that went down differently. But, that is adaptations for you, or biopics, which is frustrating, but the way it is.
Question: does Jennifer Hudson sing the songs, or does she?
Yeah, she does, and she does an incredible job. I mean, it's
That's the most American Idol. That's her history, and she was cut like early,
oh yeah, I don't know. Yeah, she is definitely one of those ones like not a winner,
but a winner.
Yeah.
And also because Elton John came out and spoke when she was cut from the show. He was like, "What are you doing, American
she
Idol?"
made it to like the last rounds. She was
but
pretty,
still, like there
but
was
didn't
like
win.
6 like cut before like there was 3 or 4 left. But yeah, but her career and her life has been because she's had a lot of trauma and tragedy in her personal life, her real life, Jennifer Hudson. So could probably bring a lot of that to the character.
And Marlon Wayans, he played the husband.
Yes.
What?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't.
I gotta watch this. This
he
cast
is
is
in-
amazing.
I
is in the
remember him
preview.
from
Liz,
some of the press.
Would you
from some of the
come
promo
back from
stuff.
outer space, please?
What?
He is really good. Unfortunately, that relationship is not a nice one.
Yeah.
So he unfortunately does that well. Although it was also slightly changed for the movie. They have them getting married much later than they do in real life. But whatever. But that was done, I thought, very well. Hard to watch, but very well.
Interesting. So it's one of those things where it's a history lesson, but then you got to take it with a grain of salt or a teaspoon. But what's the expression?
Yes, grain of salt.
Grain of salt. I don't know. Then I got nervous.
I
I
don't
was
know
like,
what
oh,
kind of
maybe it's not
measurements
the.
you're doing.
I'm like a spoonful of salt. That sounds terrible. Isn't it a spoonful of sugar? Oh, geez. Anyway,
Can you find a recipe in your entire house that says spoonful of salt in it, and then I will give you $1.
or more, well, you're not going to find a recipe that says a grain of salt because that would be ridiculous. A spoon of salt, sure. A lot of things have a spoon.
You're
Teaspoon.
outrageous.
Okay,
I mean,
whatever.
a spoonful
Anyway.
of sugar,
no,
sure.
just a spoon of salt. Nondescript. You pick the spoon size. It's good for you. Figure
Any
it out.
spoon. Any spoon size.
This recipe calls for spoon of salt.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I'm like, what? I was asleep. What robot? What robot? Where are we? What's happening?
All I was going to say is just, as John was saying, you can learn a lot. It's sort of a history lesson, but then also it's not always 100% accurate. So, it's a little bit of a...
Yeah, so similarly, two other fun ones. Producer Jerry Wexler, which is like a name you know. So he was from that Atlantic Records. So Aretha had done all these records already, but they weren't really breaking through. So then these did. And so that's, he had other people as well. But in this one, he is the one who says Queen of Soul, which is not accurate. But
Oh, come on.
yeah, it was Mark Maron, though, who is fun. Always as an irascible old executive. Perfect.
Oh, yeah.
Mark Maron.
He
God.
just as a casting director, you're like, and done.
I mean,
Titus Burgess is in it.
Yes, he was great.
love him.
He's was involved with the family and the father's church beforehand, so he was like arranging and sort of the orchestrator or something. And then he similarly over Aretha's life, but separately, his career blossomed. So he established himself. So then when you come back around much later, and she's doing that sort of live performance gospel record that then they released that documentary a couple years ago. He was the supporting orchestrator for that, and and they showcase that relationship in a way that's really interesting and very cool.
Yeah, this is an amazing cast. Audra McDonald, Forrest Whitaker. Gosh, I mean, wow. Okay.
Would you say you respect this cast?
I deeply respect the cast of Respect. All right, and that's in movie theaters.
No, that was in movie theaters.
So
a long
where
time
can
ago.
you see it, do you think?
Well,
Where did
I've
you
got
see
the
it?
answer for you. You can rent it on all the digital platforms.
Oh,
now.
okay, great. Okay.
oh, so not streaming anywhere yet? Or
No, still, they got a pay window right now. So at the moment, it's not the premium rental, so that's nice, but it's a normal rental.
Yeah, I've seen on Amazon Prime and Apple and Google Play Movie. Yeah, but you got to pay at this point.
You gotta respect.
You got to show respect
Yeah.
and pay for respect.
Yeah, speaking of the way they, and who knows the exact truth of this, but that was a big turning point in the movie is the song Respect, and they spend a lot of time with the way she developed it and found it, and it was, whether accurate or not, was super fun to watch.
Oh, cool.
Very cool. All right.
Well, good.
PG-13, everybody.
Oh, well, okay. I don't know. Now I have to rethink if I'm
I
gonna.
don't know. All right. The one thing I want to bring up before we wrap up, there's a classic coming back on a network that has literally probably formed who I am as a person.
Oh God, what is that?
Dun dun.
Law and Order.
How did I read your mind? on
Dick
that
Wolf,
one?
thank you. So
Hey, don't call me that. I already felt like at some point we're gonna need to ask, do we need to do a huge fans of Mariska Hargitay, where all of us just sit here and wonder at the facts and knowledge that you have of her?
I honestly, it might be too much because she's like in 20 seasons of Law and Order Special Victims Unit SVU, which I quite often used to say SUV. So, but Special Victims Unit.
She's worked on it. She's got it
But
down
now there's Law and Order Organized Crime with Stabler crossover, and there's been Criminal Intent, which was awesome. But the original, the OG,
yeah.
is coming back this week. Last week in February. I'm sure there's multiple places you can catch it. So Law and Order, and listen, one of my favorite characters, Sam Waterston, Jack McCoy, DA. And you know what else? It looks like his eyebrows are finally under control.
Ooh.
They did look groomed. The last promo stuff I saw for the new season.
Yep. And so I'll definitely come back and talk about that the next episode because I will watch season 21, episode 1, Law and Order, people coming. So
and you're only going to get that one episode.
I'm very excited about it. So there you go.
Yeah. It's a quid pro quo. She's going to get one.
Oh.
We're going to get one. Then there's going to be another week where she's like, hey, guess what I watched this
And I
weekend?
hope they keep the same formula
Dun,
where
dun.
we see the crime first and then they go to court. Law and Order.
Of course, not
Well,
see the
there's
crime.
also the investigation.
It's the
before that.
investigation.
All of it. It's so good. Ripped from the headlines. Cannot wait. Okay, so for myself, I did.
I've never told you this, but I'm a fan of the original series. Like I didn't do a bunch of the spin-offs, and I probably died off after like 8 seasons. But when those were back on, I was like, oh yeah, with Jerry Orbach. Oh yeah,
Jerry
oh, yeah.
Orbach.
I just love all the beat cop stuff that they were doing back then. It really felt like kind of that old school cop show all the way back then by comparison to like some of the NYPD Blues and some of the orange-haired ones.
Well, all the
CSI
cameos.
spin-offs, I was like, whew, you know what? They're still doing it right.
All the roles they cast off of New York theater actors and
Oh, yeah.
small I mean, you'll go back now and watch, like a season 12 and you're like, holy crap.
Stacked.
Yeah. I mean, like, and it's a small bit part because they really haven't had their breakout role on,
a lot of people,
comes
that
a
was
few
like
years
their
later.
first big thing.
It's so good. So good. So I'm very excited about that. So I was all in the space world, Netflix, Space Force, like you, Catherine, and Lost in Space.
Yeah, so mine was Space Force, but then it was mostly also because I'm doing a rewatch of Upload.
Yeah, I need to watch that upload.
Upload is so fun. Anyway,
Which is on Amazon.
yes, Amazon. Thank you.
And I watched Ted Lasso. I'm still just now having finished season 1. I'm excited to watch season 2. I may not burn through it as fast as I
Take your
burn
time.
through
Take your
season
time.
1.
Enjoy.
One day. Oh,
Savor Watch, remember?
yeah. That was like, eating the entire angel food cake in one go.
Yeah. And that's on Apple.
That is.
Right, and I watched Respect, the movie, which is available for rental on your digital platforms.
Oh, on your digital platform.
So thank you, everybody, for listening to what we are watching. So remember to subscribe, comment, review, like, follow, and you can follow us at Podcast Watching. And we also have a Patreon, so please subscribe there as well. That's where we kind of go on deeper dives or get a little more critical.
Yeah,
So-
a little bit of a different vibe.
Yeah, so
Like,
thank you.
If you happen to notice one of us just not talking for like an entire 5-minute section, maybe we had something to say.
So thank you again for listening to
What We Are Watching.
watching.